We have been getting positive developments throughout the day today on Miami's pursuit of some of their most important targets.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, your host, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor for allhurricanes.com. Thank you for making our second episode of the day, your second listen or your second watch of the day. Locked On Canes is available free wherever you get your podcasts and available free on YouTube. We just couldn't stay away today because we had a lot of topics this morning, guys, when it comes to people like Cormani McClain and Christopher Johnson and Francisco Mauigoa. So many developments. We had to put on a second episode for today. I know some of you all were panicking over the last 24 hours about Cormani McClain with Bama stepping up their interest. I'm not saying it's over because it's really not over until he signs his national letter of intent in December. Hopefully that letter of intent, and I expect it to get signed by for Miami, I should say. Hopefully he signs that NLI for Miami, and I expect him to. But you're still going to have to, I think, keep battling off interest from other places because that's just the nature of the beast. And you're talking about the second-ranked recruit in the entire country. So we talked this morning about Bama, Nick Saban, T-Rob, trying to get Cormani McClain out to Tuscaloosa this weekend for an official visit. And if he were to accept it and make the trip, that wouldn't be a great sign for Miami. He is a verbal commit to Miami. Plans for this weekend did not materialize. Cormani McClain will not be visiting Alabama this weekend. Very good news for the Canes. Again, Bama might very well keep trying. They already had an in-house visit with him this past week. Saban may try to take the old private jet down to Lakeland once again to try to stir things up again, but McClain not taking the official visit somewhere else is a great sign for Miami. It really is. And according to On3 Sports and 24/7 Sports, there is no expectation that he will be taking a trip to Alabama. So huge news for the Hurricanes and for Hurricanes fans, because I know a lot of you guys have been sweating this out for the last 24 hours or so. This man, Cormani McClain, fingers crossed, we keep him locked up for this class. This is a positive development that Miami's going to do that. Top-rated defensive player in the entire class of 2023. I mentioned he's the number 2 overall recruit in the class. He's a 5-star, an undisputed 5-star. Every recruiting service gives Cormani McClain 5 stars. He's both a lockdown corner and a playmaker. He's got those long arms. He's a human interception machine. We want to get this guy on Green Tree practice fields as soon as possible. Hopefully he's an early enrollee. So let's keep the positive momentum here going, because what makes recruiting time so crazy is, like, you're not only trying to get new recruits in, because there's a number of uncommitted players who are going to be deciding this month and a few that are going to decide into February, but you also have to keep battling just to keep the recruits that you have. And, from Cormani's perspective, I don't know what the young man is thinking. He might be completely rock solid for all I know, but there's always going to be outside noise, and there's always going to be other schools who are trying to swoop in and poach this one away. So this round goes to Mario Cristobal and not to Nick Saban. Round 1 here goes to Mario. Well, really, it's round 2, because round 1 for Mario was getting that verbal commit from McClain in the first place back on October 27th. He stuffed G5 Billy and Nick Saban in the locker in late October, and hopefully he just stuffed Nick back in that locker again where he belongs. So that is a solid piece of news. I talked a little bit this morning about 4-star running back out of Dillard, Chris Johnson. I am now confident enough to put in a Donno ball for Chris Johnson to the University of Miami. I'm pretty sure I'm batting 1,000 on Donno balls. I don't put in as many Donno balls as Wilt Fong puts in Fong balls. Like, I really pick my spots on Donno balls, but I don't think I've been wrong before. If any of you remember a time I've missed a Donno ball prediction, feel free to call me out and throw that in the chat, but I'm pretty sure I'm batting 1,000 on Donno balls. I am ready to put one in for Chris Johnson. He's going to be announcing his commitment on Sunday, and he's visiting, official visit to the University of Miami this weekend for his final OV. And yes, the expectation is after he visits on Saturday, and, he's an area guy, Dillard in Fort Lauderdale. He and his father are going to drive down to campus for that visit. He's going to commit on Sunday, and we believe he is going to be committing to the University of Miami Hurricanes. I guess the only bummer about this is he's not taking Antoine Jackson on the visit with him, who is a verbal commit. Now, there was buzz earlier this week that Coach Prime was trying to swoop in and flip Antoine Action Jackson from Miami to Colorado. Jackson shot that down, and he's been saying, has Jackson, that he's been trying to get Chris Johnson to Miami. So Jackson seems like a solid commit to me, even though he's not taken this official visit down to Miami. He's been trying to recruit his high school teammate out of Dillard, Chris Johnson, to join him in South Florida. So Johnson, if and when he commits to the University of Miami, obviously the running back situation for Miami, losing both Jalen Knighton, which is going to be a sizable loss, and Thad Franklin, losing them both in the portal, not having any other running backs currently committed to the class of 2023, and not having any transfer portal guys at the moment coming in. We'll see if we can rectify that. We have holes to fill at running back, and I want Johnson badly, and I want others. I really want Mark Fletcher badly in this class, but I will be so happy if Chris Johnson commits to Miami. I'm going to be throwing a parade down Kendall Drive if he commits. I'm so happy. He's a 4-star back out of Dillard High School. He's on the small side. I mean, he's definitely a certain type of player at 5'11", about 180 pounds, but he is a burner and an absolute playmaker. And I'm watching Miami play this past season. One of the things that the Hurricanes were missing was game-changing speed all over the field. Chris Johnson has that sort of game-changing speed. He took gold in Florida's 3A track meet in both the 100-meter and the 200-meter dashes. So he's very, very fast. He is deciding between Miami and Ole Miss. Those are his top two. But he did say earlier this week, in his words, not mine, it's no secret Miami's the favorite. So hopefully Miami hits that official visit this weekend out of the park. Make sure you get a list of what kind of foods he likes, because, if he's got a shellfish allergy or something, make sure you don't have any shrimp on that table. Or if he loves shrimp, have a table full of shrimp. Make sure it's a great official visit, because I think unless something goes really poorly on that OV this weekend, you could expect him to commit to the Miami Hurricanes on Sunday. So that is excellent news. I still want to talk about definitely a development in the recruitment of transfer portal player who is the brother of a Miami Hurricanes commit. And Miami has offered one of the big-time wide receiver targets in the transfer portal. We will talk about all of that right after we talk about our good friends at BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer and esports. We've got it all at BetOnline. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find all those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. And we are also brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. If you're a small business owner, finding a new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's not a money grab by LinkedIn. They're really going to help you out. So you add your job and the purple hiring hashtag frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Then simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates you'd like to talk to and faster and prioritize them, find the people with the right skills for your job. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you'd like to talk to and faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege and post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. So, you know who's making a visit this weekend? Francisco Mauigoa, the brother of Francis Mauigoa. They're not that creative in the Mauigoa household with naming babies, but it's fine. Francis is a verbal commit, 5-star offensive tackle, top offensive lineman in the entire country, is already committed to Miami. Now his older brother, Francisco, is going to be taking a Miami visit. He's a former Washington State Cougars linebacker. He's leaving the Cougs. Hopefully he's leaving the Cougs for the Canes because he is in the transfer portal. He's visiting South Florida. From the second I saw Francisco's name in the transfer portal, I figured Miami would make all the sense in the world. So now the Mauigoa family, because they live out in Hawaii, the family, right? Instead of having to pick and choose, oh, we're going to be at Pullman, Washington this weekend, Miami, Florida the next weekend, one-stop shopping now, one flight to go see the Mauigoa brothers play football. So hopefully Francisco lands in Miami figuratively and literally and joins Francis here. And so an update on the situation is he is going to be making a Miami visit this weekend. Francisco Mauigoa will be visiting this weekend. And obviously for a number of reasons, I love Miami's chances here. And, with the addition of Mauigoa, who joins a really nice looking linebacker class for Miami with Pulliam being the most recent addition, Malik Bryant, Bobby Washington, Popo Aguirre. And by the way, Popo reaffirmed his commitment to Miami earlier today. So he's 1,000% locked in. So you've got like a really nice looking linebacker class on the way in. You've got Wes Basaint heading into his sophomore year this year. And if you can add an experienced player like Francisco Mauigoa, it would be huge. And the thing about Mauigoa is, he's 2 years into his college career. He can impact the 2023 Canes, and he's got 2 years of eligibility left. So he's got a little ways to go here. He can be part of that transition into the next phase of linebackers, but adding a guy with some quality experience, he's going to have a big impact on the team this coming year. Whereas, the true freshmen that are coming in, it's a little bit feast or famine, right? Like Wes Basaint ended up having a nice impact this year, but more so in the second half of the year than the first half of the year when he got more comfortable. So, you can ease that transition a little bit more for some of the young linebackers coming in, bringing in a guy like Mauigoa. Now, Mauigoa, he's a former, and I said this on this morning's first episode, he's a former 3-star recruit out of high school, but he's been playing like a 4-star guy. Like this guy has probably exceeded his potential to this point. He just had what was described by the Wazoo newspapers as a breakout sophomore campaign. He's 6'3", 230-pound linebacker, so he's got good size and just had a great season. I was watching his highlight reel from 2022 a little bit earlier today. He scored a pick 6 earlier this year, did a nice job, reading the quarterback, jumping a route, took it 96 yards for a touchdown the other way, had 60 tackles, 5.5 TFL, 3 sacks, and that interception that I talked about, which went for a touchdown. He forced 3 fumbles this season. So, he's a really good player. You look at his Pro Football Focus rating, 75.8 defensive grade, which is very good, 74.1 against the run, had a 69.9 tackling grade, and a 76.3 coverage grade, which is very good. He had 9 pressures, 5 hurries, and 1 quarterback hit. So this is not like a case of, hey, we're recruiting the little brother, so let's bring in the big brother to maybe sweeten the deal for the little brother to reaffirm his commitment here. You'd love to have both. I mean, Francis, the younger brother, has the higher upside because he's a 5-star recruit, and the guy is he's a savage. Like he is so good, Francis Mauigoa. Like he is just an absolute monster at offensive tackle, and the older brother is a really good linebacker. So I think it could really, really work out here if Miami can lock up the elder Mauigoa, who's taking a visit. This is interesting. This is a new name that we hadn't talked about in an earlier episode. Miami has made an offer to transfer portal wide receiver Rara Thomas out of Mississippi State. This is one of the best players available in the transfer portal at another position of need. Miami has a lot of positions of need, but wide receiver is certainly included in that. And Rara, he checks off all the boxes. He's already gotten notable offers, so there's a lot of competition here, guys. I'm not going to say this is a layup by any stretch of the imagination because he's got notable offers from Georgia, Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida State, just to name a few. He's probably got a lot more offers that are not as prominent. He's got a Miami offer now. And Thomas, he was a second-year guy for Washington State last year, 2022. He totaled 626 receiving yards, 7 touchdown receptions, had his best game against Texas A&M. He caught 5 passes for 134 yards and a touchdown. And, hey, Miami plays Texas A&M again next year. So maybe if Rara can do a little some of that against the Aggies again this coming season, that would be nice. You got to get him first, though. They're going to face competition for that one. But Rara Thomas is one of the top available players in the transfer portal. Wide receiver has been officially offered by the University of Miami Hurricanes. And guys, huge thanks for tuning in today. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know recruiting and transfer portal is going to keep us busy for the next several weeks. So stick with us here. Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.